Okay, now I recently came across a product that if you're using any kind of Canon mirrorless system like the R5 or the R6, but especially if you happen to be on a R5C, I think is going to make a lot of people be very, very interested in it. And what I'm looking at right here, this is actually the Llano battery fast charger for Canon LP E6 batteries. And this is a really kind of interesting little innovative charging case that I found. And I want to kind of go over and show you kind of what I've discovered about it and let you decide if this is something that you think would really, really make a difference for you out there on a set. But I know if you're someone that has something like a Canon R5C and you just find yourself burning through batteries on a day, this could be something that really, really makes it different when you're out there shooting. Now, this is the Llano Fast Charger, and it's basically, this model particularly is designed for LP E6 batteries. Now, they actually make ones for Sony batteries, all kinds of different things, but hey, I'm a Canon shooter. We're talking about Canon batteries here, so this one's made specifically for Canon batteries. And what really makes this interesting is, first off, the price. This thing right here is $79, and not only do you get a fast charger with it, but you actually get, check it out, two Canon LP E6 NH batteries. Now, these are the higher capacity batteries that come with the R5 and the R5C, and honestly, if you're using any of these things nowadays, you're going to want a camera like this because they just have a little more punch in them than the traditional Canon LP E6 batteries. Now, as you can see in the case, not only do you get the charger, but you get the two batteries. And what's really amazing about this is you get all of that for $79. Now, just to kind of put this in perspective on why I think this is a good deal if you're out there looking at it, a normal Canon LP E6 NH battery by itself, if you were to get like a second one because you had an R5C that drinks these things, it's $79 just by itself. You can get two LP E6 NH batteries and the charger for $79. So basically you get double the battery capacitor and a charger that you can take with you on the road for the exact same price as one replacement battery for a Canon R5 or R5C. So I think this is one of those things that makes this a very, very compelling deal if you find yourself out there kind of confronting this oh, I dropped my battery. If you find yourself kind of confronting this need for extra battery power when you're out there on the road. Now, the case itself is really well designed. I mean, it feels sturdy. It's like a little brick. You can see it's not very big. And what I like about this, it's got a top that's magnetically sealed. So if I put my batteries in there, I'm going to put two batteries in there just so you can see. If for some reason I'm out in the field and my thing gets put upside down, you will see that the magnetic seal thing keeps this from tumbling out. I'm not going to lose batteries anywhere. One of the things is when you're out there, if you have other type of battery cases, sometimes the batteries can get knocked out and go around. This magnetically sealed case is really, really nice, and it keeps it well contained and well protected, because that's what you want to do, because batteries are expensive. Now, the other thing about this case that's really interesting is that it is thermally optimized, and that means it has short circuit prevention features that provide a safety component so you don't fry your batteries. And in addition to being just a normal charger, you can actually set this to super fast charging, where it'll basically charge your batteries faster if you're out in the field somewhere and you need to really get that extra power as fast as you can. And in addition to the supercharging, this charger comes with over voltage, overcharge, and over current protection, in addition to short circuit protection. So you know if you get this, your batteries are going to be protected, which nowadays is just something I really want, because I hate replacing my batteries. It's also got one other little feature here that I think really is a nice little add-on, and it's this LCD screen here on the front. Now, if you're sitting here, you can be out in the field, you can hit that, and you will see it'll give you a readout of what your charging power is. You can see I got 71% and 70% power in the batteries individually. It's kind of a nice way to know when you're in the field, if you're grabbing this, you can kind of see what the status of the battery is out there. Now, in addition to the LCD screen, there is something that's very, very important to recognize about this system, and that is this is not a battery charging system. This is not something that's going to charge on its own away from a power source. So if you want a battery-operated field situation, that's not what this is going to be. But it does have a USB-C charging port on the side, which means you have a ton of flexibility. That means you can use this with a phone charger, a battery bank. You can use it in a car charger. You can use it on a laptop. You can basically plug in anything in a USB-C and let this thing go. And it can go really, really fast. This thing can charge two LP E6 batteries in about 3 hours. So it's really, really nice. You can kind of plug that in there. I find you can take this and just hot swap batteries all day long, and you're never going to run out of batteries. This battery, along with the battery that comes with your camera, honestly will be more than enough if you're charging to go all day and be in good shape and not have to sweat what your power usage is as you're shooting. Now, as far as the batteries themselves, I find they work fine. I mean, these are not official Canon batteries, although they look very, very similar to them. But I discovered basically no issues. I had both a Canon R5 and an R5C. I put these in both of the cameras, and then when I did a shoot, I had no power issues whatsoever with it. The one thing I did notice on the Canon R5C, I put this in there was no problem. On the Canon R5, I did get a warning that this was your generic battery, and it didn't recognize it, but I cut the Canon R5 on and off, and then once I plugged it back in, it was completely fine, and this operated completely normal. So it is a nice benefit to have. Man, I keep dropping batteries today. Anyway, it is a nice thing to have that when you're out there, because these 2 extra batteries are something you're going to want, especially if you're someone like me that has a Canon R5C. Now, in addition to the battery component right here, there's also one other kind of interesting thing. It's got an SD slot. So if you just want a super portable, like, power solution to get a extra SD card and your batteries, you can do it in all one situation. Now, like I said, you can't download from here, but you can store your SD card right in there, and you're pretty much good to go. And to use it, all you got to do is take your batteries, slip it right in there. I'll pick this one up off the ground, put that in there, pop it in. You're going to get a status symbol, and if you plug it in, I'll just plug it in right now so you can see. You can see right now, as it plugs in, you'll start to see a blinking light here. And what it means is, if it's solid, it means it's on supercharge, and if it's on a blinking light, it means it's on a normal charging cycle. Just gonna be what you wanna do. You basically just hit the power button here, and that will let you change between the charging modes. It's pretty straightforward and pretty nice. And then, as you can see, as you're charging, you get a really, really clear readout of what your power is as you're charging. When you're done, got it already charged up either on your brick or your laptop or your standalone power brick, you just unplug it, you pop it up, you can slip this right in your pocket, and you are good to go. So as you can see, this is just a pretty straightforward design. So I really like the size of this. I really like how it comes with 2 batteries, and I love the value you can get from this. As a Canon R5C user, this thing pretty much comes down to a no-brainer because its price is so affordable. Now, that being said, whenever I do a review of any product, I do like to point out if there are any potential drawbacks or things you need to know if you're going to purchase this. Now, the only major con I can see about this standing right out is it's just not a standalone field power block. Now, apparently, Llano is planning on coming out a version with this sometime in the future that could be a standalone block that will charge things out in the field, but that is not this right now. I don't think that's a huge problem because you can plug this into a USB thing and get so much fast power from that. That's such a really good option. But just be aware you have a power brick with you when you're out there shooting. And really the only other con that I would say is that I love having this feature here where I can hit the button and see exactly what my power status is. But I don't know if it's just a model I have that I was sent, but this one, for whatever reason, if I take a battery out and put it back in, it'll just, and I close it, and I hit it, you'll see it reads at 100%. If I take it off the charger, it's going to tell me really accurately what I want. But if I just pop it there in the field, it doesn't really let me know. So this is something that it'd be nice if I could just automatically get a reading of what the power setting was in there, but it doesn't give me that once I'm away from the charging block. If I plug this in, then once I open this, it'll give me a more accurate power reading, and I can see I'm back there at 72%. So just be aware of that. It's not something you can go on the field and put a battery in and test it, but then again, your camera kind of does that for you anyway, so you should know about that. But anyway, guys, I just thought this was one of those things, if you are a Canon R shooter, especially if you have like an R5C and are looking for a really, really good, nice, affordable solution to some of your R5C power woes, this little Llano power brick could be a really, really good little situation. You get 2 batteries and a charger for less price than you get for 1 battery itself for the Canon R5C. Anyway, guys, I'd love to hear what you have to say about this. Leave me any notes and comments down below. And yeah, go out there, keep on shooting, and yeah, I'll talk to you soon.